Welcome to the Morning Edition Extra. I'm Denali Ruiz, coming to you from Alaska's News Source's digital desk. Thank you for joining us this Friday morning. Starting us off, we have meteorologist Aaron Morrison, who's going to give us a breakdown over what our day is going to look like and our weekend. Aaron.
Thanks, Adelmi. We continue to hold on to some of this bitter cold air that is tightening its grip across the state. Now, the silver lining in the forecast is that we have plenty of sunshine to get outdoors and soak up if you are going to be out and about. But you want to bundle up as we are seeing bitter cold conditions. Keep that chapstick handy, lotion, and moisturize that skin as this is very cold air. Snow does move into southeast this weekend, so we will be watching for that. We've already got winter storm watches and winter weather advisories that have been issued for the Panhandle. Cold conditions this morning. You see wind chills approaching 60 below from Kotzebue out towards Dead Horse. Wind chill of 44 below in Fairbanks. Meanwhile, across south central, those wind chills are anywhere from 10 to 40 below. And those actual air temperatures are sitting anywhere from about 5 to 30 below across south central, with some of the coldest conditions from Soldotna out towards Willow. So bundle up this morning. There's that cold weather pattern that is with us. It's going to stay with us into the weekend, although we will see some warming conditions out west as the week draws to a close and we welcome in next week. This is that next system we're watching that's dropping south along the slope. We do have some blizzard conditions to be expected this weekend for areas of the Beaufort Seacoast as that snow does move in, and that's also going to lead to some increasing winds up to 40+ miles per hour. So whiteout conditions will be possible for areas east of the Dalton Highway. And then you can see from the interior south to south central, this is where we're going to continue to see this cold weather pattern as we welcome in early next week. We are going to see increasing snow building into southeast as that system just south of the Aleutians builds east through the Pacific and into the Gulf of Alaska. That will clip Kodiak, but a better chance for snow for Kodiak arrives as we welcome in your Sunday. But this is the storm system we're going to be watching this weekend. We've got winter storm watches and winter weather advisories that have been issued for the Panhandle, and we could see the potential for up to a foot, if not more, of snow accumulation. So by 10 a.m. in the morning, Saturday, 10:30, you can see widespread snow already gripping a good portion of southeast. Southern parts of the Panhandle where temperatures warm above freezing. This is where rain will once again mix in with that snowfall. And again, we've got heavy snowfall Saturday, Juneau 6 to 12 inches, down to Petersburg about 6 to 16 inches of snow accumulation to be possible. So stay tuned. We may actually first alert for this incoming storm as we welcome in the weekend, considering just how active the weather pattern has been so far this season. And Juneau was already beginning to approach about 120 inches of snowfall for the season. Into our Sunday, we will see that snow kind of taper off, but into next week, more snow and rain will build in across the Panhandle. But for today, any of that lingering activity will just amount to a trace to about half an inch, and then there's that snow building in for your Saturday on into Sunday, and that's where we could see several more inches of snow accumulation. And it's not out of the realm of possibility for some spots to hit nearly a foot of snowfall. Bitter cold across most of the state, out towards the Aleutians as well as southeast. That's where we're largely holding on to temperatures in the 20s and the 30s. That 7-day forecast for Juneau showing that fairly dry today outside of some lingering snow. That snow builds back in Saturday, transitioning to a rain snow by Sunday, and that continues as we welcome in next week. Adelmi?
All right, thank you so much, Aaron. And a search in the Aleutians that lasted nearly a week for a missing 15-year-old teen has ended in tragedy. Authorities found 15-year-old Kaipo Kamenanga's body on Thursday, and that's according to an individual who was close to the search effort. The teen was canoeing with friends Monday when the boat capsized. The heroic fourth boy who was a witness dove in and saved two of his friends, but could not reach Kaipo in time. The Alaska Dive Search and Recovery Team from Anchorage conducted the recovery operation in frigid, harsh conditions. Sandpoint is a community of 500 on the Aleutian chain. The entire town rallied around the teen's family throughout the ordeal. Meanwhile, the Alaska Dive Search, Rescue, and Recovery Team posted on Facebook that some team members are deploying at 7:30 this morning to assist the community of Sandpoint, adding the team's thoughts and prayers are with his family, friends, and community. You can find more information on ways to help the family on our website. And dozens of families have been stranded in the Denali borough for over a week after heavy snowfall. Jace Bertrand spoke with people in the area to learn the risks and dangers they're facing as they wait for roads to be cleared.
Alaskans are no strangers to snow, but almost 10 feet of it?
We had a massive snowstorm within the entire week where it snowed about 2 feet for 2 days. Within a week's time, we had 6 to 8 feet of snow with 40-mile-an-hour winds with drifting.
Heather McGorty says many families live several miles from the nearest main road, making it almost impossible to get supplies.
I had just gotten my truck stuck, which normally that thing really can move a lot of snow, and it's just been getting progressively colder. Now it's at the point where equipment really doesn't operate well when it gets past -20.
After 9 days of being snowed in, families are at risk of running out of fuel and firewood.
Fuel-wise, for running generators or any of that, I have about a week's worth, and that's pushing it. That same generator runs our well, so it can get very discouraging.
There's about 4 gallons left there. That's not going to get us far. I've run out of some of my own medication, and I'm going to have to get out at some point. We can't wait another month.
Joseph Chatfield says several people have attempted to travel to Healy by snow machine, but have not been able to make it. With each passing day, residents feel more frustrated with the borough's response to the situation.
A lot of us out here have been self-sufficient, and we've never really had to ask for help from the borough. And the one time we do really ask for help for the winter time, we just get no real answer.
We're prepared for living off grid, and this is a lifestyle that we've chosen and we're well prepared for, but this is not something that is a normal circumstance.
Denali Borough Mayor Chris Knoll said in a statement, quote, "We are communicating and coordinating closely with our Department of Transportation partners to determine what role we can best serve to help our impacted communities. As conditions show no sign of improving, the situation becomes more dangerous each day." Jace Bertrand, Alaska's news source.
Despite the cold weather, Fur Rondy's carnival started Thursday for its 60th year. Joe Allgood headed over there to check out some of the rides at the winter carnival.
Fur Rondy is in full swing as I am right now. We talked to the folks who are making the 60th Fur Rendezvous happen, and they are excited about this uniquely Alaskan event.
It can be really warm outside and nice, or it can be cold like it is today. People always come out. We have to get our Fur Rendezvous in, celebrate the dogs, celebrate the fur auction, and come and enjoy the carnival, as we've been doing here for 60 years in Alaska. This is homegrown Alaskan fun, and we love to share what we do with the state.
Yeah, and you're wearing a fur right now. Can you tell us what that is?
So this is a beaver, and my friend David Green down the way made it for me.
That's nice, yeah. He's one of the best furriers in the state. So.
Master furrier, yes.
Even though it's cold, there's plenty of activity to warm you up. I am upside down right now. Oh my gosh. So come on down this weekend and the next couple for a rendezvous. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source. I think we got it.
Looks like he was having the time of his life. And if you're heading to Fur Rondy's running of the reindeer tomorrow on Saturday, keep an eye on the ones with antlers. Turns out they got a little secret. Danny Tompkins spent the day at Williams Reindeer Farm in the valley, where the herd is getting ready for their 18th year in the run. And some of them are running for 2.
This reindeer right here is one that keeps their antlers the longest, and the reason why is pretty surprising. It's because this is actually a pregnant female reindeer. They do keep their antlers longer than the males. And a fun fact about the running of the reindeer coming up here for Fur Rondy, many of those running will be the pregnant females, as people love to see the antlers. Now, they don't actually get too tired because they're meant to be running long distances. They can run up to 50 miles an hour, which is pretty impressive. Now, this farm here in Palmer has about 120 to 140 reindeer on the farm, and only about 25 will be going with them for the run, but it's a trek from Palmer all the way to Anchorage. But these animals are so friendly. I've been walking around giving them some snacks, but they're so sweet, and I can tell why the running of the reindeer is such a fun event that's been going on for 17 years. This farm has been a part of it for every single year, and they plan to keep doing so in the future. Danny Tompkins, Alaska's news source.
For a list of all the Fur Rondy events, go to our website. We've got it all laid out, from road closures to Saturday's parade, carnival rides, and more. The 52nd Annual Festival of Native Arts is now underway at UAF. It brings ancestral traditions to life over the span of several days for everyone to learn and enjoy. The special celebration is always dedicated to a specific group, and this year, the event is dedicated to everyone affected by former Typhoon Halong. Members of the UAF Native Games Club spent Thursday afternoon demonstrating ancient skills once vital for survival in the Arctic. Athletes showcased events like the Alaskan high kick and the scissor broad jump, traditions passed down through Inuit and Denali families for thousands of years. This workshop, one of many happening throughout the weekend, demonstrate how strength, endurance, and agility were historically used to navigate ice flows and harvest in harsh conditions.
These games reflect something to do with our way of life back then. It reflects the harshness of the environment that we live in and what it took to be able to survive in such harsh conditions. And so these built upon survival skills that were necessary in order to survive here.
The club helps standardize these games for modern... Okay, my mic is up. Sorry, I just had to check. The club helps standardize these games for modern competition, ensuring these cultural pillars remain a permanent fixture in the community for years to come. The Festival of Native Arts are scheduled to continue until Sunday afternoon. And 30 humpback whales worth of trash was hauled off Anchorage's public lands last year. Now the city is doubling the team responsible for it all. Georgina Fernandez has more on the plan.
It's a sight that's familiar for many of us. Countless trash that appears every year.
And we all know as the snow melts, it reveals a lot of trash that has built up over the long winter.
The community says it's doubling the size of the Parks and Rec's Healthy Space team to tackle that trash this year as part of the city's ongoing beautification efforts. Funded by a $4 surcharge at Solid Waste Service that the Assembly approved last year.
This is the next step in reclaiming our public spaces by having year-round cleanup that is available when the public needs it.
The team tackling everything in the past, from homeless camps to garbage in the roadways. And the LaFrance administration says last year they were able to pick up 2.45 million pounds of trash on public land. Now, to put that in perspective, that's around 30 humpback whales. And with more hands on deck this year, the city says it can expand its efforts.
We no longer have to choose just one area to prioritize. We can focus on many areas of the municipality simultaneously.
LaFrance also adding it hasn't done any camp abatement yet, as she expects this year to look different for camps due to code enforcement and ongoing outreach efforts.
We are expecting to see fewer people sleeping outside and cleaner spaces this year.
Right now, the media says there's not a specific area it's focusing on as it now turns to the public for feedback.
I think, again, as the snow melts, it's all going to present itself.
As they work on crafting a cleaner Anchorage. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
Excuse me, my mic was down. We're going to be taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about nature effects. We'll be having that Tracy Sinclair and Emma Wolf first talk back on what is happening in the government that affects you. We're going to be talking about Clinton's deposed and we'll be talking about a couple of other national and international stories. So stick with us. You're going to want to hear those. Welcome back in. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told the House Oversight Committee she has no information about convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And today in New York, former President Bill Clinton will give his testimony. The Clintons requested that their depositions to be public, but the chair of the committee has promised to release transcripts and videos as soon as possible. Alice Barr has the details of today's deposition.
In a first-of-its-kind move today, former President Bill Clinton set to answer questions from lawmakers under subpoena in the House Oversight Committee's Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The committee chair promising a longer deposition today.
We have a lot more questions for Bill Clinton
than the 6 hours former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton sat for on Thursday.
I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance.
Neither Clinton has been accused of wrongdoing, but the questioning comes after former President Clinton's photo and name appeared multiple times in the Justice Department's released Epstein files. The former president has said he cut ties with Epstein before learning of any of his crimes.
I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light.
Democrats saying Hillary Clinton answered openly as Republicans assert they, at times,
weren't satisfied with answers.
Democrats now arguing the committee has set a new precedent
about talking to presidents and former presidents. And we're demanding immediately that we ask President Trump to testify.
Republicans making that appear unlikely.
President Trump has answered hundreds, if not thousands, of questions from you all about Epstein.
as the Epstein controversy hits a new marker today. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Tensions are escalating between Pakistan and Afghanistan after reported cross-border strikes as a new video surfaces appearing to show airstrikes in Kabul. Pakistani security sources released monochrome video today that they say shows airstrikes in Kabul. Pakistan's Ministry of Information said it carried out airstrikes inside Afghanistan on Thursday. Taliban spokesperson Zabiullah Mujahid said airstrikes were conducted in Kabul the following day. Officials on both sides report heavy losses as cross-border fighting intensifies after months of rising tension. In cooperation this morning after that deadly apparent shootout off the coast of Cuba involving a boat from Florida, U.S. and Cuban authorities say they're working to piece together what led Cuban officials to kill 4 people and injure 6 others when Cuban authorities say the boat fired on the Cuban border guard. We're learning that at least 1 American was among those killed. Jared Hill has more from New York.
From the White House, confirmation that at least 2 people involved in the apparent shootout with Cuban authorities off the northern coast of the island were indeed American citizens. A third in the U.S. on a visa. The others may have been legal permanent residents.
We're going to have our own information on this, and we're going to figure out exactly what happened.
Cuban authorities say a speedboat with 10 people on board opened fire on Cuban troops, saying the men intended to carry out an infiltration for terrorist purposes. Cuban officials say they found assault rifles, handguns, Molotov cocktails, and bulletproof vests on board the boat. Cuban authorities say they're in contact with the U.S. as the investigation continues. Meanwhile, we've learned the boat was reported stolen, according to a Florida sheriff's report first obtained by CBS News. The vessel's owner said he believes the man who took it was an employee. Ibrahim Bash, a friend of Michelle Ortega, one of the 4 people killed, said they never talked about anything like this. But called those on the boat new heroes for Cuba's freedom. 6 people were injured in the gunfire and are still in Cuban custody.
We obviously want to have access to these people.
All this amid rising tensions between the U.S. and Cuba, with President Trump putting new sanctions and tariffs on the Caribbean country after the operation to capture former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And now we have our own Tracy Sinclair who spoke with our Washington correspondent Emma Wolfers on what is going on in the government, what else is going on in the government that you need to know and how it impacts you.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton testified in upstate New York in a closed-door deposition in the House Oversight Committee's Epstein Files investigation. Our Washington correspondent Emma Wolfers joins us now from D.C. And Emma, what came from this?
Well, Tracy, former Secretary Clinton said she had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, never flew on his plane or went to his island, and does not recall meeting him. She had a brief press conference after the deposition Thursday, and she told reporters, quote, "I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein," end quote. Clinton also called Thursday's deposition very long and repetitive, but there was actually a portion of this 6-hour-long testimony that was temporarily halted, and that's because Congresswoman Lauren Boebert took a photo of the deposition, sent it to a conservative influencer who then posted it on social media in violation of that closed-door rule. Despite the Clintons asking multiple times prior to Thursday for this to be a public hearing, the Oversight Committee chairman denied that request. After the photo snafu Thursday, Clinton once again demanded reporters be allowed into her deposition. That was not granted. Now, Democratic lawmakers called for the transcript and video of this hearing to be released within 24 hours of the deposition's conclusion, which was a little bit after 6 p.m. Eastern Thursday. Former President Bill Clinton and Hillary's husband is scheduled to testify today.
And now President Donald Trump had an unexpected meeting with the mayor of New York at the White House today. Do we know what those two discussed?
Yes, Tracy, the main topic was housing. In a social media post, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani called this meeting productive. He went to the Oval Office and gave President Trump the front page of a mock newspaper touting a future big housing initiative. Mamdani's communications team said they wanted to demonstrate for President Trump what kind of reaction new federal housing investments could bring. They said the president was very enthusiastic about their proposal, but they did not share the details of it with the media. Now, housing wasn't the only thing discussed. Mamdani did bring up the detention of a Columbia University student from Azerbaijan who was arrested Thursday morning by federal immigration agents. After their White House meeting, Trump called Mamdani and told him the student was being released.
And now, U.S. and Iranian negotiators continued talks in Geneva today with, of course, the threat of military action still looming. What's the latest there?
Yeah, Tracy, there were hours of indirect negotiations Thursday, but officials walked away on both sides without a deal. Oman, who was mediating this, their foreign minister said there was significant progress in the negotiation. Iran's foreign minister said talks had been some of the most intense and longest rounds of negotiations they had had so far. The U.S. did not offer a comment on the talks Thursday evening. Now, military action is still very much on the table here. There is still that massive buildup of U.S. aircraft and ships in the region. Oman's foreign minister did say that talks are not over. Technical level talks are scheduled to take place next week in Vienna.
Our Washington correspondent, Emma Wolfhurst, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And new research confirms that a walk in the woods can do wonders for your brain. A moment of nature can have real benefits for the brain. Researchers at McGill University looked at more than 100 brain imaging studies and found exposure to nature, even a couple of minutes walking in a park, can provide a mental reset. Data shows time outdoors lets stress systems settle, quiets mental rumination, and helps restore attention to real-world surroundings. Researchers also say time in nature encourages people to take better care of Mother Earth. And there's new clarity on how smoking can accelerate the aging of the human eye. Johns Hopkins medicine researchers conducted experiments with rodents that found smoke exposure can change the genetic behavior that occurs in old age. Researchers say this could help explain why people who smoke are 4 times more likely to develop age-related macular degeneration, than non-smokers. And there's room for improvement when kids need care at the emergency room. That's according to a new study published by the Annals of Emergency Medicine, which documented gaps in training and coordination of care before young patients even reach the hospital. Researchers surveyed more than 7,000 EMS agencies in all 50 states and found just 38% have a dedicated pediatric emergency care coordinator responsible for improving care for kids and making sure ambulances have the specific equipment and the medicine they need. And we'll be right back after this short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the cost of care. This is something that we did tease into in the morning edition, so that's the story. We'll also have our health watch, the connection between mental health and cancer, plus a couple of more stories. So stick with us, you'll want to hear them. Welcome back in. Thank you for sticking with us. With affordability being the main focus of Democrats heading into the midterms, one particular issue is taking the spotlight, the cost of care. Washington correspondent Keishan Asaf has more.
Everyone will need caretaking at some point. From watching children to helping aging parents, the need to strengthen the care economy was the main talking point on Thursday, at least among House Democrats.
This issue will be a defining one in the 2026 elections.
On day 2 of the House Democrats Issues Conference, lawmakers distilled their overarching theme of affordability down to bite-sized issues, turning the focus to one specific topic they feel impacts the rest.
Caregiving makes all other work possible.
The care economy is one that doesn't discriminate based on age, with children, elderly, and disability care a thought on most Americans' minds. But besides being unattainable to many, it's also unaffordable, disproportionately requiring women to leave the workforce, taking away an untapped driver of the economy. Democrats say they have the solution.
It's not going to be enough for us to just go back to the way things were. We are going to be big and bold, and we are going to have real solutions that solve this problem.
It's one piece of the affordability puzzle being worked out this week. A series of discussions and panels completing House Democrats' midterm agenda they say will lock into place as soon as they get the majority. But regardless of a blue wave in November, lawmakers promise the plan won't change, pitching their answers to Americans with or without the Speaker's gavel.
We are unified, we are focused, and we are legislatively extremely successful at advancing our agenda despite being in the minority.
In Leesburg, I'm Keishan Asaf.
If you've ever ordered dinner or last-minute items for delivery, you've probably been asked to include a tip. Several apps say 100% of that money goes to drivers. Regulators allege Walmart failed to keep that promise on multiple occasions. The Federal Trade Commission says Walmart will pay $100 million to settle a pay dispute for the FTC. And 11 states allege it misled Spark delivery drivers about base pay and tips. It also says the retailer falsely claimed the entirety of customers' tips would go to those workers. The commission is requiring the chain to implement an earnings verification program for drivers. It says Walmart also is committed to increased transparency and accuracy around compensation. And new research is shedding light on how everyday health choices with life or death consequences, from childhood vaccinations to protecting your brain as you age. Doctors say small decisions can make a big difference. Kristen Durand has this morning's Health Watch.
Developed a mental health condition in the first year. Cancer patients with better mental health may live longer. A study in the journal Cancer found patients who developed a mental health condition in the first year after being diagnosed had a more than 50% higher risk of death in the first 1 to 3 years. Researchers say the study is further evidence of how closely tied mental health is to physical health. The number of parents getting their newborns vaccinated for hepatitis B is plummeting. A study published in JAMA found vaccination rates were 83% in 2023, but just 2 years later, rates fell to 73%. The vaccine has substantially reduced deaths from hepatitis in America. In December, a CDC advisory committee changed universal vaccine recommendations on the Hep B vaccine. And a healthy diet can lower your risk of cognitive decline and improve brain function. A study published in JAMA found that people on the DASH diet, which is a diet limiting sodium, sugars, and saturated fats, performed better on cognitive tests than people who weren't watching what they eat. Eating more fish and vegetables and less red meat and processed meat were critical to brain health. Kristen Durand, Alaska's news source.
Excuse me, my microphone was down. With that, we're going to take another very short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about Papa John's closing some locations, a Nissan recall, and eBay Pokemon auctions. So stick with us. You'll want to hear the stories. Welcome back in. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Now, Papa John's has announced on Thursday evening they are closing hundreds of their locations due to customers pulling back on spending. It was revealed during the earnings call where this was announced that 300 underperforming restaurants in North America will be closing by the end of 2027, with about 200 of them expected to close this year. Nissan has issued a recall for its compact crossover SUV, the Rogue. The recall applies to more than 600,000 Rogue vehicles due to two different issues. Both put the car at risk for an accident. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, from 2023 to 2025, models of the Rogue are at risk of engine failure due to increased oil temperature. And 2024 to 2025 Rogues have an electronic throttle body system that could break. Nissan officials say they're not aware of any accidents related to the problems. Owners of the impacted Rogue SUVs should take their cars to a Nissan dealership for free repairs. And take a look at this. These Pokemon items are on auction on eBay. These are some pretty rare, the 3030 collection. These are some of the items that are up for auction on eBay. So if you're a Pokemon fan, head on over to eBay, place your bid if you would like, and there's even some Game Boy games. I haven't heard of Game Boy in a really long time. Game Boys were around when I was a little girl. I remember them. And we'll be right back after another very, very short break. When we come back, it's National Strawberry Day. We'll be talking about Strawberry Days. There was a very cool strawberry festival that you're going to want to check out. We're also going to be talking about Dr. Pepper sausages, which I don't know about you, but I'm very curious about what that means. So stick with us. We'll have those stories and more. Welcome back in. Thank you so much for sticking with us this Friday morning. In Anchorage, we're celebrating Fur Rondy and getting ready to kick off Iditarod in a few days. And down in Florida, they're celebrating strawberries. It's a wild time, and Eric Glacier tells us all about the Florida Strawberry Festival.
New to the table, and well, each year the Florida Strawberry Festival brings something new to the table, and in 2026, that is literally true. This year's event is serving up 21 brand new foods, from the viral strawberry Dubai chocolate funnel cake,
delicious,
to savory new treats like strawberry barbecue egg rolls and strawberry apple fries.
This is something that you're not going to find really anywhere.
Of course, it's not just about the food. The festival's adding a brand new sound stage to give visitors a better concert experience, and new comfort zones that include more restrooms and shade areas too.
Well received so far, so we're ready to kick this festival off and get it rolling.
A focus on safety comes with the debut of the new Berry Safe Kids initiative, a family safety program where parents can pick up QR-coded wristbands to help quickly reunite with lost children.
Just peace of mind in case they run off and we lose track of them, which we hopefully don't.
And then there's the revamped Midway, boasting more than 80 rides and attractions, including the America 250 wheel, which is the largest portable observation wheel in the world, with views up to 14 miles.
It was comfortable up there. High flying, you could see everything.
For those with a taste for tradition, there's daily livestock shows, youth programs, parades, and of course those culinary classics.
Strawberry shortcake.
Corn dog, food.
Well, that looks like so much fun. That looks like a very tasty day. And continuing with the strawberry theme, one of the reasons they may be launching this festival, it's National Strawberry Day. Now, I know many of us aren't going to step outside into our gardens and find strawberries blooming this time of year, so we've gathered up some fun facts about them. Did you know strawberries aren't actually berries at all? They're accessory fruits. They're called accessory fruits. And that's because Romans believed that strawberries were a medicinal remedy for everything from bad breath to a fever. And also in ancient times, they were associated with Venus, the goddess of love, and believed to promote a healthy heart. Ironically, they are high in antioxidants, so they do help with heart health. And last on our list for today, the fear of strawberries is a rare phobia known as, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but I'm going to do my best, frigoriophobia. Frigoriophobia is the fear of strawberries, which is a very, very rare phobia, but it does happen and it does come up. And this license plate offers some sound advice for those about to embark on a road trip, and I'll give you a second to see what it says. Let's start this video over. Okay, pausing the video. See if you can figure out what this stands for. Okay, 3, 2, 1. It stands for P before we go. And sound advice, but according to the local DMV, his vanity plate now has to go. The owner of the plate decided he was going to fight for the plate and took it all the way to the governor of New York, who posted a video in support of the plate. She said she was going to get his plate back to him, stating she also firmly believes it's just sound advice, which it is true. I mean, we definitely should go to the restroom before we go on a road trip, before we get in the car, before we go on a long drive. So definitely, I mean, spreading, it's kind of like a PSA in a way, right? Are you a Dr. Pepper fan? Well, how about a sausage fan? Now, stay with me here. Are you a Dr. Pepper flavored sausage fan? Because if you are, this may be directly for you. Johnsonville has partnered with Dr. Pepper to introduce Dr. Pepper inspired sausage. Now, I personally, I'm not too sure how I feel about this just yet, but I do love Dr. Pepper. So, and I always say I'm willing to try anything at least once. So I'll try it. I'll try it at least once, and I'll see how I really feel about it. But they say it is a, quote, completely original, never before tasted mashup that's prompting equal parts intrigue, excitement, and disbelief, end quote. Now, I'm with them on the disbelief. Now, Australian photographer Maddie Smith has been named Underwater Photographer of the Year for 2026. His award-winning photo was that pair that you just saw. Let me start the video over so we can get a good look at that. This is his award-winning photo, this pair of southern elephant seal pups in a rock pool taken on the Falkland Islands. Smith says the image was inspired by watching dozens of baby seal pups climbing over each other on the rocks at sunset. He used a special homemade dome to capture the picture. Smith's aptly named Rock Pool Rookies was among more than 7,900 entries for the award. Other category winners include a Japanese Navy shipwreck, a female octopus guarding her eggs in the exact moment clownfish eggs hatched. So I can let this entire video play so we can get a good look at all of the pictures that were up for the award. And congratulations to the Australian photographer Maddie Smith for being named Photographer of the Year for 2026. These are some definitely amazing shots. It must have been a really tight competition. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors, very bright. Oh, that must be this is the female octopus guarding her eggs. Okay, well, thank you so much for sticking with us for the Morning Edition Extra. That wraps it up. And have a good rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday. Have a good one.